think the point is that when we have arrived at a place where we feel that we understand something, if we don't check it out and check our assumptions, we actually get really deeply into a way where we're isolating ourselves from other points of view. And then when we do meet other points of view, we can't relate to them. And that becomes very dangerous, actually. That's the place where people become very resolved about certain things or righteous. And that place of righteousness becomes very dangerous as a mobilizing point for how to behave towards other points of view. And I think the thing that I would say is that in the broader sense of being, the only things you can know are happening through the vehicle of humanness. And humanness, by its nature, is very mysterious. And it's not black and white. Nothing is black and white. Even black and white as like conceptual frameworks are conceptual frameworks that we use for ourselves. To a bird, black and white might not be black and white at all because their visual spectrum is different than ours. So if we are operating in a way where we've pigeonholed ourselves into our narrow points of view and perspective, we lose the broader context of being. And that broader context of being is so much more rich and more informative than we could ever really understand. That if we don't allow ourselves to be curious about that, then we lose a lot. And, this is a philosophical argument. It's unnecessary to try to arrive at a point of conclusion, but some people say that human beings will never know. We don't even have the capacity to know everything. Other people say, well, we just haven't come up with the things to explain those things yet. And regardless of whether or not either of those two things are true, the fact is at this particular moment, there is a large amount that remains totally unknown to us. And that if we're not curious and open about that and not incorporating that into our understanding of how to live, we're not really accurately living life. We're just living this very tiny sliver of what life could be like. And for me, that seems very unsatisfying. Like to be able to see life or experience life in a variety of ways seems unbelievably fascinating to me. It's like to be relegated to one point of view forever seems really lousy. Like this is me and my stuff. Like I see my opinions happen about certain things, and I'm like, man, that is an opinion that makes me feel really bad. And like, it makes me feel very narrow and limited. And I know that opinion actually holds no water. It is just like, it's an empty vessel. And if I fill it with stuff, it still doesn't hold any water. It's just a concept that I have that will continue to shift and change. And if I don't associate myself with that because I'm not identified with my own opinion of something, and I remain aware, okay, my opinion shows up and then it goes, and then whatever I'm looking at is still present, then I can be with what's there in a way where I'm not like trying to live through this point of view. And that, I think, is the deeper sense of what practice is that you can see your own conditions and your own attitudes and your own frameworks, and you can see through them. You first have to see them. You have to see where they are. You have to see what they're like and investigate them. And then you can look through them. It's sort of like a magic eye, right? And what the spiritual practices are they are view tools to help you see that. So whatever tradition you're drawing from, it's just a tool for you to view what you're looking at. Like real talk, could never see magic eye myself. And there's a scientific reason for that. So if you have an astigmatism, meaning the curvature of your lens is not perfectly smooth, you can't see that. See these things? That's why I can see stuff.